Okay, buddies, I've got more questions for you, more examples, worked examples. We're going to go through them together, of course. Remember, if you just want to attempt the question, just pause the video, attempt it, and then you can be confirming with my answers. All right, so here it is, still changing the subject of the formula. Let's see what we got. We go for it. Number one is saying, remember that the condition or the command is now saying make x the subject. So letter x is our subject this time. Okay, let's go for it. Number one, 3 over x is equal to 5. So what's the first thing I'm going to look at and realize here? I'm going to realize that my subject is in a fraction. And remember, we said if your subject is in a fraction, we don't care if it's at the top or at the bottom, as long as it's in a fraction, then you cannot make it a subject. You have to break the to make it the subject, you have to to break the fraction, rather. Okay, get it out of the fraction, break the fraction. So, how do you do that? By taking the denominator to the other side. That's always how you break a fraction. You have to get the denominator to the other side, which is the number at the bottom. Okay, I take that denominator, it's x this time, so 3 is equal to x goes to the other side, 2 multiply, it becomes 5x. Once it's like this, then I can make x the subject. I leave it on the right hand side. Remember, if it's on the right and it's positive, then leave it there. So I see it's positive, it's on the right, so I just have to take everything that's not x, which is 5. 5 goes to the left, it becomes 3 over 5 is equal to x, because 5 will now go to divide. I do number 2 using the same tricks. What is it going to be like? Well, a over x is equal to f. That means first thing I have to break the fraction. A will be equal to fx. And then to make x the subject, I have to take everything that's not x to the other side, which is this f. It goes to the left, it goes to divide, and this will be equal to x. I go to number 3. Same concept. I have to break the fraction, okay? Because my subject is in a fraction, I take it to the other side, it becomes nx is equal to t. Well, I make x the subject by taking everything which is not x to the other side. X will be equal to t over n, right? And I go to the next question. Let's see how it goes. I think so far it's so nice, right? Yeah, let's go to number 4. It's saying m over x. V is equal to m over x. Well, my x is in a fraction. I have to break it. How do you break a fraction? You take the denominator to the other side. We actually don't care what the denominator is. As long as your subject is in a fraction, you have to break that fraction. And how do you break the fraction? Take the denominator to the other side. So I'll take the denominator to the other side. It's going to multiply. So Vx is now equal to m. Once it's like this, where is my subject? On the left. Wow. Is it positive? Yes. Why? Because there's nothing in front of it. If there's no sign in front of it, or if there's a plus in front of it, then it's a positive number. If it's a negative number, then it's going to have a negative in front. So here I see that in front is nothing, so it's positive. How do I make it the subject? Because if it's already positive, then I can go ahead and make it the subject. How? By taking everything which is not x to the other side. What is not x here? V. V goes to the other side. I now have x being equal to m over v. Okay, I've made x the subject. Let's go to number 5. I have 2 over x being equal to 4 over 7. Now, this is as easy as it gets, because yes, I see that my subject is in a fraction. So I'm going to have to break the fraction. So I'll have to break it. Now, here is the simplest way to do it. If you have one fraction on the left and one fraction on the right, listen to this. You have one fraction on the left and one fraction on the right. You have nothing else. Just those two things. One fraction on the left and one on the right. Then to break the thing, you just cross multiply like this. Okay, you cross multiply. So 2 multiply 7, so you're going to have 2 by 7 is equal to 4 by x. 2 by 7 is 14 is equal to 4 by x is 4x. Now to make x the subject, I take 4 to the other side. 14 over 4 is equal to x. Then I can reduce it to lowest terms by dividing both things by 2. Is going to be 7 over 2 is equal to x. And that's my final solution. I go to number 6. T over a is equal to b over x. How do I how do I break it, or how do I destroy the fractions? I cross multiply. So I'm going to cross multiply. Sorry for that. Cross multiply like this. T by x is equal to a by b. A times b. T times X is XT or TX, we don't care, is equal to A times B is AB. Then we take T to the other side, so X will be equal to AB over T. Okay, because T was multiplying on the left, on the right, it will divide. Good. Now let's go to number 7. S over X is equal to V over M. How do I break this? Cross multiply again, because I have one fraction on the left and one on the right. So it's as easy as it gets. This is easy peasy lemon squeezy. S times M, okay, will be equal to V times X. Okay, now you're fast. You could just write it as Vx. So, and this is just Sm. Okay, sorry for making it scruffy, right? Maybe let me make it neat. Let me make it neat. So it's going to be Sm. Right, now what do? We make X the subject. Where is it? It's on the right. Do we change it? No. Why? It's positive. Leave it there. Don't touch it. Take everything which is not X to the other side. What is it? V. V goes to the other side. It's going to be Sm over V. It is equal to X. Because V was multiplying on the right. When it goes to the left, it will obviously divide. So far, so good. I'm enjoying this. Let's go to number 8. 7 over X plus 3 is equal to 4. 7 over X plus 3 is equal to 4. What am I going to make the subject? X. And I see it's in a fraction? Yes. I have to break the fraction? Yes. How do I break the fraction? By taking the denominator as it is to the other side. What's my denominator? X plus 3. I take it to the other side. So 7 is equal to 4 is now multiplying X plus 3. Okay? The whole thing, it comes together as it is, and it's going to multiply 4. So that's why I put a bracket like that, because it's the whole denominator. You have to be awake and alert. So now what do I have? I'm making X the subject. Is it positive? Yes. I've seen a situation like this before, right? Yes, I have. How did I make it subject? Well, I started with 4, taking 4 to the other side. Why? Because 4 is affecting everybody. So 4 goes to the other side. I now have 7 over 4 is equal to X plus 3. If you follow the rules, you won't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Then now what do? I take 3 to the other side. So it's going to be 7 over 4. 3 is now coming to subtract, and it is equal to X. Wow, let's go to number 9. 2 over X minus 1 is equal to 9. Okay, so I see I have a fraction, yes. What do I have to do? I have to break the fraction. By doing what? Taking the denominator to the other side. So 2 is equal to 9 multiplying X minus 1. Then what do? What do? I now make X the subject. How do I do it? I start by taking 9 to the other side. Why? Because 9 is affecting everyone. Okay, so 2 over 9 is equal to X minus 1. Then I take 1 to the other side. It's going to be 2 over 9 plus 1 is equal to X. Good. Now let's go to number 10. B is equal to D over X minus Q. What do? I take the denominator to the other side, because I must break that fraction, because X, my subject, X, is in a fraction. And I have to break that fraction by taking the denominator. Whatever the denominator is, I have to take it to the other side. So I go to the other side. B is multiplying X minus Q, and it is going to be equal to D. Now I go ahead, I make X the subject. How do I do it in this case? Well, we know we're veterans by now. We take B to the other side because B is affecting everybody. So I'm going to have X minus Q being equal to D over B. I hope I'm not speaking too fast for somebody. Then I'm going to make X the subject. It's on the left. I keep it on the left because it's positive, because there's no sign in front of it. But this Q is subtracting, goes to the other side, it will add. So X is equal to D over B is already there. D over B is already there. Q is now coming to add like that. We go to number 11. K over LX is equal to M. I have to break the fraction. How do I break the fraction? By taking the denominator to the other side. So K is equal to MLX. Because I'm just going to multiply LX by M, I just write them together. So it's going to be MLX. Then what do? I now want to make X the subject. So what do? I take everything which is not X to the other side. That's M and L. What were they doing? Multiplying on the other side, they would divide, and it is equal to X. Let's go to number 12. I start by taking the denominator to the other side without even thinking. I don't need to think about anything. I take the denominator to the other side. Wow, really? Yes, so CMX is equal to Q. Then what do? I take everything which is not X to the other side. So X should be equal to Q over CM. Okay? Now we keep going. Number 13. B over L minus X is equal to D. We're now on number 13. b over L minus x is equal to d. I have to break the fraction because my x is in a fraction. So I don't even have to think too much, okay? By now you should be able to notice it. So I break my fraction by taking the denominator to the other side. So b remains is equal to d. D was there. Now L minus x is coming to multiply that. It's coming together. Then now I have to make x the subject. By doing it, what do I start with? I start by taking d to the other side because it's affecting everybody. B over d is equal to 1 minus x. What's the next step to make x the subject? Oh, I realize that my x is negative. And we know that we mustn't have it being negative, because as long as it's negative, it's going to be very hard to make it the subject. So we take it to the we can't make it the subject. We have to take it to the other side to make it positive. Then we start our process. Then we can be doing the rules that we have seen before. So I have to take it to the other side to make it positive. What was there on the other side? B over d. Now what's coming? X to do what? To add. So maybe let me fix my b over d because d is not clear. X to do what? To add. And what is it now? Equal to 1. 1 remains alone. Now we can do the subject, okay? Everything that's not x has to go to the other side. And I have b over d. Okay, straight. What is b over d doing? Adding. When it goes to the other side, it will subtract. From who? From 1, because 1 was already there. We now go to number 14. V is equal to a over t minus x. Who are we making the subject? X. And how do you make it the subject? Break that fraction, please. How do you break a fraction? By taking the denominator to the other side. The number at the bottom. The number at the bottom. Please, don't do your own abracadabra black magic. Okay? The number at the bottom is what goes to the other side. So V is going to multiply t minus x, and it is equal to a. Once it's like this, I have to make a the subject. But before I start doing that, I have to throw away that bracket. And how do I do it? By taking V to the other side, because V is affecting everybody. He's the one who's causing it. So I remain with t minus x being equal to a over v. Be careful. Look at what v is doing. He's multiplying because it's outside the bracket. When I take it to the other side, he obviously will do the opposite. And what's the opposite? Dividing. Good. So it's dividing. And then what do I realize now? I have one line now. What do I realize? I realize that my subject is negative. So there's no way on earth of making it the subject until I first, okay, I mean, you could have a way, but a very tricky one. But I can't work with the rules that we have covered so far as long as the subject is negative. So I have to take it to the other side to make it positive first. So t is equal to a over v plus x. Now, once it is positive, I now start to take everything which is not x to the other side so that it remains as the subject. So I'm going to leave it on the right-hand side, and I take everything which is not x to the left. So it's going to be t minus a over v, and that is equal to x. Oh my, beautiful. I love this. Now we are on number 15. What are we making the subject? We are making x the subject. All right. So let's go ahead and do it. What do we do here? How do I make x the subject? You're like, we break the fraction. Oh yeah, true. We're going to have to break the fraction because x is in a fraction. But before you do that, you have to make sure that the fraction is alone. Okay? The fraction should be alone when you break it. There mustn't be something else. So I see that this 3 is there, so I can't break my fraction right now. I have to take 3 to the other side. So 4 over x is now equal to, is it a 9? Or is it a q? Let's make it a 9. 9 minus 3. 4 over x is equal to 6. Once it's like this, then I can take x to the other side, okay? My denominator, because it's the denominator, I take it to the other side. So 4 is equal to 6 times x, which is 6x. Then now I need to make x the subject by taking everything which is not x to the other side. 4 over 6 is equal to x. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Amazing. Let's go to the next one. Number 16. 7 over x minus 5 is equal to 6. All right? So what am I going to do? I remember I have to make my fraction with x remain alone. So 7 over x is equal to 6 plus 5. Because that minus 5 goes to the other side, it becomes a plus 5. And I have 7 over x, okay? 7 over x being equal to 6 plus 5 is 11. Once it's like this, then I can go ahead and make x the subject. Okay, I take it from the denominator to the other side. So 7 is equal to 11x. Then to make the subject, I take 11 to the other side. 7 over 11 is equal to x. Done. Now, number 17, v over x minus r is equal to t. I have to do what? First, leave the fraction alone. Make it be alone. That's what I mean. As in, it must be the only thing that's there on the left-hand side. All right, so it's going to be v over x because this is the fraction that has x. So that's why I care about it so much. If it didn't have x, then I was just going to treat it like anything else. But because it has x, then it must be alone before I can remove the x from the denominator. So it's equal to t plus r. Okay, r is now adding. Then now I can now split my fraction. How? By taking denominator to the other side. So v is equal to x. V is equal to x multiplying t plus r. Okay, you can already see that my pen is going down in battery, so I'm about to stop, and then we can continue multiplying t plus r. And then now I want to make x the subject. Yes, I just take t plus r to the other side. So v o over t, okay, o over t plus r, t plus r is equal to x. And we're done. Okay, that's it for this video. See you in the next one when we continue. All right, bye for now.